Well, welcome to week 5. We're almost done, and a couple of big assignments, and you will have completed this course successfully. Um, this is week 5, and so you have your biggest assignment due this week, and it is really just a culmination of what you've done the first 4 weeks in writing an exegetical paper about the pericope that you have selected. And you've done a word study and you've done some background work. But I just kind of wanted to walk you through the process of what it really will look like for you to take your passage of Scripture and do the exegetical study. So hopefully you have downloaded this 7-step process, the exegetical method, that is available to you, I think, on week 1 of your resources there. And you need to have a copy of this in front of you as you actually work on your paper to make sure you hit all of the right areas and make sure that you kind of push all the right buttons in your study. In doing that, I'll run through these quickly. First, you profile the text, you find your pericope, make sure that it's a complete unit of thought, but also make sure that it's not too much. Many times, especially younger students, have a tendency to want to take a whole chapter, and just too much material to do the kind of study that you need to do, the kind of detailed, in-depth research that you need to do. So if it's a story out of one of the Gospels, make sure that it's just the story. If you're looking at something out of the epistles, try to look for markers that might indicate that the direction is changing. For example, the word finally, or therefore, or in addition. Some of those words indicate that there's a change of direction in what the writer is getting ready to say. So make sure that you've got not too little, but not too much in your pericope. And then study the key words, the words that are most important, that seem to be pivotal in understanding what the passage means. Explore the historical context. You can do this on blueletterbible.org, both your Hebrew or Greek word study, and also there are lots of resources there, Bible dictionaries and encyclopedias and commentaries, that you can get a lot of this historical background. And then look at the context, the literary context. What genre of literature is it? Is it poetry? Is it wisdom? Is it a biography, or is it a historical account like the book of Acts? Is it an eyewitness account? Is it a prophetic kind of book like Revelation, or one of the prophets in the Old Testament? Look at the literary context. Reflect on the theological context and identify the themes within the pericope. So there should be a theme. If you're looking at one of the miracles of Jesus, the theme might be healing, the theme might be forgiveness of sin, the theme might be that he's doing the healing on Sabbath, or the response of the religious leaders of the day. Any of those things could be kind of prevailing themes, and there may be more than one. You'll probably need to identify the primary theme, and then identify 2 levels of meaning. What did this mean to the people that it was written to or for? If it's New Testament, what did it mean in the first century? What did it mean to the people who received the letter from Paul? And then what could it mean for us? What is the application to us? And then communicate the meaning. Write out your exegetical study and say, this is what I believe the meaning of this pericope is, this passage of Scripture. All right? So that's kind of how you'll do it. I did it myself this morning on a passage of Scripture. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hears my voice and opens the door, I'll come into him and dine with him and he with me. That Scripture is taken out of context a lot, used for a lot of things that probably shouldn't be used for. But in doing a little study, I found out one interesting thing. The word door there is the word that can also mean vestibule of a house, or the gate that sheep go in and out of. And so that makes a tremendous difference in understanding. I'd want to look at who John was writing to. He was writing here to the churches of Asia. Does that have a meaning for them? Yes. Does that have an application for me? Absolutely. And so that's how you do your exegetical study. If you have problems or you run into difficulties, please email me or send me a message or call me. I'll be glad to help you through it, walk you through the process. You're also going to listen this week to a sermon by Mia Chang, and it's interesting. The discussion question, I think, is an appropriate one. It is identifying the difference between what we call preaching and what we call teaching. Is it possible to do both simultaneously? Can you be a preacher without being a teacher, or a teacher without being a preacher? Those are interesting questions, and that's the things we'll ask you to wrestle with in the discussion question in week 5. One more week after this, I'll be back with another video to kind of guide you through that week, and then we will be completed with the course. Make sure you get in your work. A few of you are lagging behind, have some missing assignments, and on a 6-week course, it's pretty tough to make it up once you get 2 or 3 weeks behind. So if that happens to be you, make sure that you get your work in as quickly as possible. You'll get a slight deduction for it being late, but not enough to cause you not to pass the course. So even if you're doing work a couple of weeks behind, get it in. When we get to the end of the course, because of the holidays and the end of the year and all that sort of thing, there won't be a lot of grace time. Right? Actually, there won't be any grace time at the end. Everything needs to be in by the last day of class. So do that, and have a blessed week. Hope everything is going well for you. And I'll see you in week 6.